Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing tonight? You guys freedom fighters ready to win 2014? Great, and I appreciate all of your hard work, and you all deserve to be up here getting awards, and I want to let you guys all know that because you guys are the people that make a difference in this country, and you guys deserve the ultimate thanks for that. Well, for years, liberal bias in high school's classrooms has been something known but hardly proven. We always hear about the college student who releases a video about a college professor with liberal views in the classroom, but hardly any high schoolers have ever been able to stand up against the teachers. And I'm here today to share a story about what happened to me in the classroom and how teachers treated me extremely negatively because of my political views. Like Lou said, my name is Benji. I'm 15 from Appleton, Wisconsin. I've gone to a public school all my life. This year I'll be attending Appleton North High School, the same high school I attended last year, as a sophomore. At the age of only 10, I got active in politics, getting involved with my local Republican Party, all on my own. My mom is here tonight somewhere in the crowd, and I thank her for everything she's done for me, but they have not raised me to be a political kid. I did that on my own, and I'm proud to have such a great parent to stand behind me, as well as my dad. Let's thank my mom for that. Unfortunately, at the age of only 12, my teachers started treating me negatively because of my political views. My local newspaper, the Post-Crescent, did an article about my political involvement at such a young age, and I got negative attention from my teachers. One of my teachers would take me before, during, or after class and would call me stupid or dumb for being a Republican. This is in 7th grade. I'm 12 years old. And after the first semester, I needed to switch schools because it had gotten so bad and because of some other issues with that school. Just a few weeks after I got to my new school, the greatest governor in this country, in my opinion, Governor Scott Walker, for not only Wisconsin, the great state of Wisconsin, but he's also done great things in this country. He passed Act 10. If you guys will all remember, the unions got extremely upset, and that was just a few weeks after I transferred schools. Teachers were crying, talking about Walker in class. They were protesting, wearing shirts, advocating against him in class. I didn't say anything at that point because I knew a lot of the teachers were extremely upset, but it was extremely inappropriate. You can understand why they were a little upset, but it was extremely inappropriate for them to do that during class. And then eventually, a few months passed, and a substitute choir teacher, yes, a choir teacher, showed us a video about how great unions were during class and talked about it. At that point, I stood up and I said, "This is wrong." In 2012, it started all again. I was in the USA Today because of my political involvement at the age of only 14 at that point. And I had teachers calling all Republicans racist. I had a health teacher call me weird for being a Tea Party supporter. And it was extremely disappointing. But I had one teacher that stood out from all, and that was my English teacher, who would constantly rant about how much he hated Scott Walker. He would constantly rant about how my parents didn't work hard. He would constantly rant about how Scott Walker had ruined his life while swearing, asking how much my parents made, and telling me that all small business owners and workers take off Fridays and summers. I know a lot of people in here have worked for small businesses or have owned a small business, which is amazing. Have you guys taken off a Friday or summers to take it off? I didn't think so. Because he was saying that word hate in front of my fellow students who look up to him as a role model, and he was saying he hated a governor just because of what he believed on the public policy. It was extremely unfair. And then, when he asked how much my parents made, I did a little research of my own. On the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel website, they have a link to all the teachers' salaries. I looked it up. $2,000 with salary and benefits, and he was complaining about how much my parents made. It was extremely wrong. So eventually I decided to write down all these events. And eventually I actually wrote an article for FreedomWorks. Some of you might have read it. a week, Laura Ingram, Dana Lash, Megan Kelly all contacted me to interview me. On April 5th, 2013, I stood up on Fox News in Green Bay talking about what had happened in my schools. And believe me, I've taken a lot of negative attention for that. But what I showed was bravery, and more students need to stand up and say that this has happened to them, because I had thousands of parents, teachers, and students say that the exact same thing had happened to them. And even teachers and students in my own school district, and they all had the same thing to say. They were too scared to stand up. And that's why I'm here today, to let other students and adults know that you cannot be scared to stand up to the liberal bullies, the union bullies, the people who try to scream us out into quiet submission. And I think a lot of times as conservatives, we stand a little bit too quiet. But if we stand up like Scott Walker and I did, it makes a difference. My school district ended up conducting an investigation. It proved everything was true, except for the 2 incidents in 7th grade, which are too far back to prove. My English teacher admitted to swearing, to saying, I didn't include this in my speech yet, but he said, I don't give an SHIT about you going to the principal's office because he and I are good friends, so it doesn't matter. He admitted to all of this. And as you guys probably all know, he wasn't fired or suspended. Let me switch gears quickly here. How many of you volunteered in the last election for anybody on the conservative side? That's amazing. But for the few people, did I see any people that didn't raise their hands? For the few people that didn't raise their hands, or the few people that are sitting at home watching TV and not out here this weekend, we need to get them active. Because in 2014, we've heard this election after election after election, that this is the biggest year to save our country. But I believe this is. We have to get the GOP Senate majority with strong conservatives. And we can't do it without you guys. We can't do it with the people who sat at home last. We can't do it without them. We can't do it without the people who sat at home last election. And we need more and more volunteers across this country to stand up for conservatism. These liberals have beaten us on grassroots activism and youth activism, but I believe that in 2014 and 2016, they're not going to do that because of people like you. And as I always say, you're never too old or too young to make a difference. And if you have the passion, and if you believe that you can stand up for what you believe in, go out there and do it. Go out there and make a difference. We need it. In my opinion, politically active students and anybody across the country are extremely important. No matter what side they are on, they should not be put down by their liberal teachers or anyone for that matter. If thousands of others have had the same problem as me over the last few years, it is a big problem. As conservatives, we've known for years that political bias has been part of the classroom, but we need more people to stand up. The liberals try to downplay it, but it's there. We all know it's there. And if we don't stop it, my friends, your kids, your grandkids will all have a tough time making their own decisions, and that will not be good because you know how these teachers think, and you know how the kids will turn out if they have similar experiences that I did, and we need that to stop. So what you can do to stop it is stand up to the teacher, stand up to the principal, and stand up to the school board and tell them what had happened. We need people to voice out and make their opinion known, especially in the local areas with their teachers, otherwise it won't stop. We need school districts to pass a rule or resolution to make sure that political discussion does not happen in classrooms that aren't having anything to do with politics. Political discussion should not happen in health or math or choir, and we need that to stop now. We really do. So make sure, if you have something that has happened, or even if you haven't, that is similar to that, stand up and make sure that this stops. And in Wisconsin, Scott Walker obviously proved that standing up to liberals is important and it makes a difference. I've learned that too. You take your fair share of heated attacks and liberal Twitter trolls and friends who don't like that you attack their favorite teacher who's really easy on them during class. But the overwhelmingly amount of support that I got from people like you made it worth it. It honestly did. And I'm so proud to stand up here and say that I'm a proud conservative who has stood up against the liberal bullies and the union bullies and fought for what I believe for. So in 2014, get out there, volunteer and make a difference and make your voice heard. Because if you don't, you're part of the problem. Be a solution to the problem and help conservatives win in 2014. God bless you.